Hello, everyone. This is KJ from Loves Teaching Will Travel. I just wanted to say it's been a wonderful season one experience, and I have so many people to thank. If you're listening to this and you haven't listened to the entire season, go back and listen to the beginning. Hear more about the wonderful journey we've had discussing teaching abroad, relocating abroad, and solo travel for women and women of color. I've been blogging for many years, but this is actually the first time I've literally let my voice be heard. And two important aspects of my life that I really feel mean so much to me is my teaching and my travel. And being able to share this experience with you has been so fulfilling and so eye opening. I hope that you've enjoyed the journey. And if you have any questions and you're feeling inspired, don't hesitate to go back, listen to some of the great interviews I've done, and really think about if this journey is what you want for yourself. If you haven't already signed up for the bonus episodes, do that now. It's your chance to get to know me more, listen to some extra interviews I've done with past guests, and really get the lowdown on what's going on when teachers do decide to relocate abroad and teach and work and find fulfillment in their work as a teacher and an educator. Now, special thanks to everyone who has been a guest on the podcast, from Latrice to Kristen, Jackie, Kylie, and Adrian. It means the world to me that you joined us to share your stories and your experiences. Many of you didn't have to do it, but you worked with me, whether coming on in the evening or early in the morning. And I'm so grateful that you were able to join me on this journey. Thank you so much again for being a guest on this podcast. I'd also like to thank my family and my friends who were always so supportive in this, even my daughter who still listens to the podcast. It's so important for me to thank you and, you know, be so grateful for the time that you took in to listen. And those of you who are currently working in education, I'm hoping that it inspires you to change your life trajectory and maybe take a chance and live that life of teaching and travel that you want so much. Now, next season, we're going to start August 30th. We'll be back for season 2. Yes, there will be a season 2. And just like this season, we'll be coming back each Wednesday, 9 a.m., ready with some great content, from interviews to talking about teachers and other bloggers and podcasters and people who are out there doing the work and really highlighting the importance of education and teaching and working with other students and populations abroad. Please remember, it's important to learn more, travel more, and really be inspired by the world around you. But also don't be afraid to find out what's out there. There's so much that we can do with our lives and ourselves. And I really hope that in this entire podcast season, you've been able to look at not only my story, but the story of others, right? And be inspired to go out there and do the things that feel good for you, whether it's consulting abroad, teaching abroad, maybe even changing direction and going into tech. Whatever it is that works for you, or whatever it is you're trying to find and figure out, I hope this podcast has been inspirational. I hope it's been motivating. And I look forward to seeing everyone season 2, end of August, ready. Make sure you have your pencils and papers and notepads ready, because there's so much I'm ready to share. I really want to incorporate more of an understanding of what you can expect when you go abroad, from the recruitment process to getting your visa and getting your documentation ready, because it is not an easy process applying to go abroad to teach or to relocate. There's a lot of things that you have to do on the back end, whether it's getting fingerprinting done, whether it's setting up a bank account, having an apartment. There's a lot of things that go into this, and I really want to make sure in season 2, I'm highlighting a lot of the process and what you can expect. Now, don't be intimidated. I know it's a lot, and for many people, it might not be a process that happens in 2 months, 3 months. It might not even happen in 6 months. This can sometimes take a while, and that's why I'm happy that I have this podcast here for you to go back to the beginning and really think about your why. Why do you want to do this? Because on those days that you do get stuck and you do have those hiccups and you have to go to the consulate and they're telling you, these aren't the documents that you're supposed to have. Please go back and change it. And you need to get documents apostilled. If you know your why, if you remember why you are doing this, you will continue to push and fight to get that dream that you want. If you don't know your why right now, go back and think about it. Sit down, think about all the things that make you you. Think about all the things that make you feel happy and fulfilled. And in that, you can discover your why. And just remember that even when you do hit those roadblocks, keep pushing forward, because knowing your why and being able to have that end game and know what you want, where you want it, and how you're going to get it will get you through the difficult times. Now, I'm hoping that those of you who've been listening on YouTube, who've connected with me on Instagram, who've connected with me, through Spotify, through voice messages, I'm hoping that you take the time over the summer to really look at all the things we've discussed in each episode, from looking at what motivates you, to looking at different school systems, to whether you need certification or not, and really evaluate where you are in your journey and think about how you can get from point A to B. Whether it's developing your finances so that when you relocate, you have enough money to take care of yourself. If you relocate without secure work, you might need enough money to get an apartment, to situate yourself for at least the first month or two. So making sure you have your finances ready is really important. It's also important to connect with family. Make sure they understand why you're doing this and how important it is to you. There are going to be those who are going to try to deter you and say, "Why are you doing this? It's dangerous. How are you going to leave?" But you have to do what feels good for you. This is your journey. Remember, this is your journey. And you have to do the things that feel good for you, your career, your life. And no one is going to live this dream for you. Only you can live this dream for you. So even when you have those detractors or people who are saying it's a dangerous world, please remember what you're dealing with here in the US. And if you don't feel like this is the place for you anymore, it's time to take your journey elsewhere. There is no greener grass anywhere, but you have to find the place that feels right for you. I've gone to so many different countries and so many different places that sometimes feel like home for me. And I think it's important for us to not be afraid to take the risk and take the journey of going abroad and seeing what places feel right for us, because there might be that place abroad that actually feels like home, and you will discover it and you'll decide, maybe being where I am isn't the place that I want to be. Take the risk, take the journey. You might find community there that you never thought you'd have before. You might make connections with people who become lifelong friends and even family. Don't be afraid to take this journey. I hope that the entire season 1 has done something that inspires you, that speaks to your soul, and gives you that drive that you need to just take the leap and take the jump and move forward in your life. Every one of us is on our own specific journey. I know for me, I've listened to Stephanie Perry, I've listened to Rashida Dow, I've followed Blacksit Global, I've followed Our Rich Journey, I've looked into the FIRE movement. There's so many things that have really helped me and inspired me to think about what I want that would be best for me and my family going forward. And I'm hoping that this podcast can do the same for you. I hope it can be a driving force in helping you to discover what you want for your life and how you can achieve these things by just taking some time to really think about how you can navigate working, building a home, raising a family if you have a family, and really making things happen for yourself and for your family that maybe you can't get here anymore. I know we've all watched the news. I know we've heard a lot about what's going on here in the US. The economy isn't great everywhere. We're all dealing with things all across the world. But hopefully, in this podcast, you've discovered that there is life after being in a space that you're not happy. There is life after being unhappy with your teaching job. And rather than changing your thought process and leaving the field that you love so much behind, I'm hoping that this podcast leaves you inspired. I hope that this podcast leaves you still yearning to be an educator, learning to work with children or adults and helping them to reach their full potential and their goal as learners. I'm hoping this podcast can help you to bring back that inspiration that you had when you wanted to teach in the first place. Many people are leaving the field. We are hemorrhaging teachers, and I mean good, amazing teachers. And from what I've learned going abroad, teaching isn't perfect everywhere. But if you have the protections, if you have the support, if you have the funding necessary to make your job worthwhile, you're willing to stay in it and you're willing to fight. You're willing to fight for your students and fight for yourself as an advocate, as an educator, and as someone who wants to be a light for young children or adults who are trying to learn and reach their dream. Please do not leave the field behind. Think about how you can work in education, doing other things if you feel that teaching isn't just what you need right now. Please remember that as an educator, your job is to inspire. Your job is to motivate. And I feel like this is my calling and what has always been my calling as an educator. I love what I do. I loved when I worked with children. I loved working with adults. And I'll continue to teach no matter what format or tool I use to teach because it feels good to me. It makes me feel like I'm doing something worthwhile. If you feel that teaching has gotten you down, if you feel that the education system in the US has turned its back on you, you're not alone. But please remember, know your why. Know why you're doing this. Know why you started your journey as an educator in the first place. And find that place, whether it's in this country or elsewhere, that makes you remember why you got into teaching and why you continue to teach and why you continue to be inspired by other educators and other people in the field of education. I'm hoping that season 1 can be a beacon for teachers out there who are at the crossroads, who are deciding, I'm not happy in my role anymore. What can I do? I need a change. I'm hoping this podcast can be a light for you to help you decide the path that you are willing to take, whether it's teaching abroad, teaching online, relocating just to relocate, or whether you're deciding maybe you want to go into consulting or higher education. I'm hoping this podcast can be a beacon for you to really help you figure out what works for you and what will be your legacy as an educator, whether in this country or abroad. It has been a wonderful journey being able to start my first podcast and being able to continue writing on my blog. There's so much more to come. I am so excited about my trip to Finland in June. There's so many things I'm looking forward to on this experience, learning more about the education system. It's my third time around, so I'm hoping to perhaps connect with even more people, maybe network some more. But on this amazing journey that I've been on with my blog, with my podcast, it's been wonderful to connect with a lot of people, and I'm hoping to meet with even more and connect with even more and learn more about myself and learn more about the world that's out there. There's so much out there for us. Don't be afraid. Don't hesitate to take risks. Taking risks is a good thing. We learn, we strive, we do better, we do bigger things. Be in the places that make you feel good about yourself. Be in the spaces with the people who inspire you, and be inspiring yourself. It has been wonderful. I look forward to connecting with all of you. This is our wrap up for season 1. Again, our wrap up for season 1. It feels so good to say it after 18 episodes, after 18 amazing episodes and interviews, and doing some research and doing some digging about what education looks like abroad. I'm so happy I've been able to bring this information to you, and I hope that you can share it with your friends and family too. This isn't something that's meant to be a secret. Share it with everyone. Share it with those that you know so that they can become inspired as well. As educators, we want to make sure that we're continuing to inspire others. And if this podcast can be that for you, I will be very, very, very fulfilled. It's been wonderful. I will see you in the bonus episodes. I will see you on the blog, on Instagram. I'll see you August 30th for season 2. Bye-bye. While we're on a break, let me tell you about something new I've added to the podcast. It's subscriptions. Now, there are going to be some bonus episodes joining, our podcast bi-weekly. You can sign up. This is a great way for you to hear from some of our past interview guests and get some background on what they've done, where they've been, and get some behind the scenes of what's really going on when we decide to relocate and teach in another country. So if you're interested, please don't hesitate to sign up, join us, and we'll see you next time.